Hi there guys, hope you're doing good. So this is the last video of my AR project, air furniture project with Flutter, and in this video I will not go to the project as a whole wise. I will try to upload it on my Google Drive and paste the link in the description. And in this video I will show you how to when you download it, how to run your code on your devices and just do the best as you could. So this is the main source code of the project, and in this project the most or the uh, most problematic thing that you face would be the Stripe and the Firebase connectivity. So I will just show you the Firebase, and then I will go through the Stripe setup, and that would just work fine. So first you need to go to, after you download the project, you need to go to the Firebase and go to the console and create another project. Name it as whatever you like. Let's name it as AR project and continue. Let's enable this, select an account, and just create the project. This will take a few minutes, and after your project is created, you will need to set your project or attach it to the Flutter application. You have two or three options. Either you can go and set it up separately for Android and iOS, and you can also do it for Flutter, and which will set it up for both iOS and Android. This is the new feature that Firebase implemented and Firebase provided us with. So as you can see the Apple or iOS, the Android, the web, Unity, and Flutter. For Flutter, you will need to have a Flutter Firebase CLI installed, and I will try to create another video to set up your Flutter project with Android Studio. And for now, I will just cover the Android part. So first, you need to click on Android. You need to go to your application and go to your build Cradle, and here you'll see the application ID. Just copy it and paste it right here. After that, this is the nickname of the project. Just name it as you like, AR project, and this is the SHA key. Now SHA key is required for different purposes. For instance, when you want the to authenticate through Google, which in this application you have to, or you will also need to provide the SHA key. I won't do this part here. You will need to provide your SHA key here, and just do as you'll find some tutorials or a command which will provide you with the SHA1 and SHA256 keys, and just go through it and add it in right here. After that, you need to download and add config file. Now this is the Google JSON file that you will need. Just download it and go to your downloads and copy it. And go to your Android, go to your app, and as you can see, I already have a Google services.json file here. I will delete it. You won't see here this file here when you are um, when you have downloaded the project, and just paste it right here and remove any extra wordings. Just the google-services.json is the correct way to paste it. Paste it right here, and you will have all this set up here. After that, let's go to the next step. Now, these steps are required, but in the latest Flutter versions, you don't need to add these lines, and but let's make sure that these lines are already added or they are in my project. So let's go to the build Gradle and look for the, this is, as you can see, this is the path. Go to your project level build Gradle, which is this one, and you will see this line here, which is this one, and the Google and Maven Central are these two lines, here and here. After that, this is the app level build Gradle, and you need to add these lines there, which would also be added. As you can see, this analytics.ktx file right here, this Firebase POM file would be somewhere around here, above that, and you will also have this ID and this one right here. Mm, oh, wait, let me just go to my plugins. Yeah, I don't think you will need to add it in the Flutter project, or the Firebase would be connected either way, and this won't be an issue. I was using it beforehand and it's working pretty well. After that, click on next and go to console. Now that your Android project is set up, just go to, you will need to, um, you know, set up a few more things in order to get your Firebase fully attached. For instance, you need to add authentication, Firebase database, things, and Firebase storage. So go to the authentication and let's make it get started. Click on the provider or the things that you want your users to sign up with. So I would need the email and password, enable it. After that, add new provider, phone, enable it, and Google, enable it, set up, give the, provide the project support email. Now for the Google and your OTP or the phone authentication to work, you will need to provide the SHA-1 and SHA-256 keys. So let me show you. If you didn't provide it at the start of the project, you need to provide it from here. Go to the project settings, go to the, just go below and add the fingerprint right here. When you add the fingerprint, you will paste your SHA key here and it will auto detect whether it's the SH1 and SH256. You will need to provide both of these right here. After that, go to the Firebase database. You will also need to enable it or set it up for your project. Otherwise, your database won't read or write the data in the collections or in the documents. Create the database. Now, let's start it in production mode. When you start it in test mode, it will keep sending you emails again and again and again to start it in production mode or get set it up for production mode. So let's start it in production mode in the start. So click on next, click on enable. There you have it. but there is still one issue to be covered right here. So there are some rules that your database has set for your read and write. So to allow the read and writes for everyone or anyone who has the authority to, you know, um, to log in and use your app. According to these rules, the only the users who have the data or who are already logged in or who have an account on your application on your project, they will be allowed to read and write the data. So let's change this false to true and publish. Now you will be allowed to change the data accordingly, and you will be allowed to read or write the app data on the Firebase database. After that, go to the storage and get started. Start it in production mode as well, and click done. And you will have to provide the rules here as well. So it's false here. You will just change it to true and publish it. After all these setups and the SHA keys you have provided, when you provide the SHA keys right here, the SHA1 and SHA256 keys, you will have to download the Google Services JSON file again and paste it there in the app level, because in this JSON file, you do not see the SHA keys preference or SHA keys setup here. So your project will need the SHA keys to be available in the Google Services JSON file. And after that, you will be allowed to authenticate through Google and send an OTP to your cell phone and all that stuff that needs to be done beforehand. So after that, your setup is done with the Firebase, and you will need to download some of the dependencies which I already have. These are the Firebase Core, Cloud, Firebase Auth, and Google Sign In, Facebook Auth. Facebook Auth is something that is quite hard to achieve because it has quite a few steps to follow. You will need to create a developer account on Facebook. You will need to set the follow the instructions that they provide, and there are about 10 to 12 steps. You will then need to provide an app icon, a privacy policy, terms of condition policy, all these things in order for your Facebook to set up for the application. I won't go through it right now. I will go through it in the future. So just bear with me for a few more minutes and we'll be done. After that, you will need to set up your Stripe account. So for Stripe to work or for the payments to work, you need to have a Stripe account. And if you want it to work on live mode, you will need to have the live application publishable key and secret key. And for it to work with your in test mode, or if you're producing it for testing purposes or for learning purposes to show to your teachers or anything like that as your final year project, because this was my final year project. I did it with the test mode on. So provide your publishable key right here, and after that you will need to have your secret key, which you will paste in here Stripe payment controller, which is in the controller folder, and as you can see in the function create payment intent, you will need to provide your Stripe secret key here. The bearer is a must thing to be to have in order for your payments to be successful. Other than that, the package is already installed, the package is already set up. You won't need to follow the instruction for Android to set it up on your application. So it will work just fine on the Android version of your application. After that, your project will work fine. It won't have any issues. Shouldn't have, but if they still have any issues, or if you're still facing any issues, just ask anything in the comments and I will try to respond to you as soon as possible. I can't respond to every messages because I have a full-time job as a Flutter developer for a company named Tusaka Software, and in order to, you know, have the best of the both worlds, I will need to have complete focus on both things, and the job is my first priority. But I try to respond to you guys as soon as possible. So just follow this account, like, share, comment, anything, and try to watch the complete video if you want the setup to be done without any worries. So these are the few steps that you need to follow in order to for this project to work. And when this project will be installed and will be working, you will have everything set up. Now, as for the part where you will have you know, the 3D models which you will need to show in the application. In my previous videos, I showed you the function and the package I used to show the 3D models, but the 3D models must be provided with a URL. Now, you have two options. Either you can store it on the Firebase storage and get the download link in the Firebase database, and the option that I used, because at that time the storage did not provide me with the faster fix or the fix I needed, because I don't know what was the problem, but the download links from the storage did not show me the 3D model on the application. I don't know what was the problem, what was the issue with that. So I used the Dropbox. Now let me demonstrate that. In my previous video, I did show you what was the way to get the download link for your your project or your um, anything that you have uploaded on the Dropbox. You just need to copy the link of that. I uploaded all these models on my Dropbox, as you can see right here, and I copied the link. I pasted it on notepad. Let me open the notepad. Now, as you can see, this is the https www dot Dropbox, and this is the URL that will be available in order to see the the anything that you have uploaded on Dropbox. But what I did was I changed this URL, and I did it. Let me show you how. So this is the URL of a downloadable model. Now, what I did was I just removed this question mark and DL is equal to 0, and pro just change the www with the DL. This URL will be used to see the file on the Dropbox, and this URL will be used to download that same file. And this is the JSON that was created. It will download the file and it will show you on the application or in the 3D way, and you will see it in your, real-time view. So this is something that you will need to follow. Then you will need to provide the download link within the model URL when you're uploading the model on the server. Now, I wanted to make a series to go through the whole project and provide you with everything that as I could, and anything that would be fine, and something that was not an issue for you guys. But some of you guys wanted me to provide it, or to, you know, uh, just they needed the project as soon as possible. So this is why I'm making this video, so that everyone can have the project as soon as possible in their hands, and they can, try different things with it, and they can, just have something to work with. They can learn it with it, they can show it as their familiar project, anything they like. So that is why I'm making this video, so that all the um, the data or the code that I have is also provided to you guys, so that you can just make it work. And if something doesn't go right, or if something is not working, just ask in the comments.